Hey, it's Tommy with Alderman Farms. Welcome back to another edition of Follow Fridays. I'm flying solo today with Patty out of town as I'm happy to introduce you to the art of creation.
Well, Jason, thanks so much for taking time out of your evening to come visit with us at Alderman Farms and introduce yourself to our viewers. So basically, the floor is yours. Tell us who you are, what you do at your homestead, what's your channel all about, and what are your plans?
Well, my name is Jason. My wife's name is Angela. You won't see her very much. She's never shown her face on camera. She's got magical hands. But we live in Southwest Ohio, and I'm originally from North Carolina. She's from this area, and but we live here in Southwest Ohio on a half-acre lot, and we grow every bit of our food in our backyard. The front half of our yard, you would never know we exist with what we have in our backyard, and we just grow everything we can in our backyard on a small space. We've only lived in this home for a little over 6 years. We practiced our first 11 and a half years of marriage growing food in containers on our back porch and an apartment in suburbia, more or less, I guess. Suburbs are Dayton, and so we grew up our food growing ideas in small space, and we continued that here, but we're mixing it in with in-ground garden and containers and raised beds. And we bought 3 green stalks this year. We're going to be planting a bunch of stuff in to expand the container idea. We have chickens. We have 17 chickens out there that are our children, essentially. They've all got names. They all have their own personalities, and they all have a special relationship with their chicken mother. So so they're the focal point kind of what we do in the backyard, but we've learned how to incorporate using them for our benefit as well, as far as like we use their bedding for mulching around around our fruit trees that we're growing, and for fertilization, and to better our soil in the garden and things of that nature. But our ultimate goal here, I think with our channel and what we're doing, is that Angela and I talked when we started this channel. We felt God called us to do this. There's no hidden agenda. It's very blatant that my goal and our goal is to connect the love of God with the idea that he loves you so much that he created this food growing system for your benefit. And he thought about you in the first 6 days of creation. The first 5 days when he created everything, he created it with us in mind. And you can see how much God loves you by simply growing food and understanding that this food is for your benefit. It's for the betterment of your life, for your freedom, for your health, and for your happiness and contentment. So I think that's our main goal here with this whole thing.
Well, that's awesome in a couple of ways. Number one, I'm appreciative that you're getting off the ground, just right out the door, connecting the blessings of God to your food source. And, Patty and I, we've been at this, had our YouTube channel since March of 2012. And we've never been shy about our faith. We've never hidden our faith. But really, in the last year or so, maybe a couple of years, we kind of felt convicted that we needed to be a little bit more intentional about sharing the gospel. And, it's kind of like, the Lord's given us a platform. We need to be more intentional about using it for his glory. Right. So we've done that. We started a Monday meditation series, and we're just a little bit more open in trying to point folks to Christ. Mm-hmm. And so I noticed that about your channel, and I'm very appreciative of it. Mm-hmm. But second, you're also, I think, filling a niche. There's a misconception out there, and I know you've probably run into this. There's a misconception out there. People who think, when they think about homesteading, they think you got to have acres of land and all that kind of stuff. And I wish Patty was here, because I know she wanted to talk to you about this. One of her concerns or one of her passions is teaching people to bloom where they're planted.
Right.
And that it's amazing what you can grow. She has a friend a YouTube friend that we met that was, I think she's got land now, but when we met her, she was living in an apartment. Mm-hmm. And a second story apartment, and you should have seen the food that this woman grew on her balcony.
Yeah.
In 5-gallon buckets, you know?
Yeah. We plant everything. We'll plant, we have 2 fig trees in like big muck buckets, you know, the big massive muck buckets. We have 2 fig trees in muck buckets. We have 2 apple trees in muck buckets. And we're going to be planting more in muck buckets this year. It's for multiple reasons. First of all, I mean, you can't shade our garden too much with all the trees. So our setup in a certain way, we want to keep the middle of our yard open as best we can because it allows the garden to get sun. But also just small space, growing ideas. We've got those on our patio. And if we happen to move, we can take it with us. You know what I mean? So we're not having to replant trees and wait on those another 5 years before we can get fruit. So we kind of get a head start on that.
That's brilliant. That's a great idea.
I mean, but it's just, I mean, our goal actually is to when we plant food, we want to make sure that we're planting things that are beneficial and more, you know, for us and for our chickens. Even they'll eat some of it too, obviously. Yeah, but I mean, and also we want a variety of things. So like, it's not just 50 tomato plants and 25 peppers and some corn and some beans and we're good. You know, we experiment with growing white Dixie butter peas. We love to grow pink eye purple hulls. My gosh, that's probably the most fantastic thing out of the ground you could possibly imagine. But just a variety of things that we're not getting tired of eating the same thing all the time. I mean, it's Americans are very food centric. You know, our taste buds will drive us to do certain things. It drives us to spend a ton of money at a restaurant just for a good meal. You know, we enjoy eating around the table with each other. We converse over it. God designed us this way. Jesus did that. Jesus went around and had meals and suppers and things like that. That's how he got to know the sinners, was he sat down and ate with them. And that was, you know, how he met people where they were at. It's, hey, let's just sit down and have a meal and let's talk. You know, we're very food centric, and if you grow in our area, especially if you grow unique foods and you tell people about it, they're automatically piqued. So I can talk about that. I can talk about, and it honestly leaves me a chance to talk about God to them and talk about how we do things, and so it's always going to be focused on how we can connect that to Jesus in some manner, and how we can get a conversation started, how we can pique people's interest into our lifestyle. And if they're interested in your life, then hopefully for me they come to an understanding that my life is centered around Jesus first, and then that's going to create ideas, thoughts, questions, conversations, and that's how you can change people's lives with doing so. If we grow more food, like our idea here is that when we sit down and when we eat in the evenings, Angela's cooked a meal. We want to make sure there's something on our plate that we grew, whether it be just some peppers and something, or whether it be some tomato products she's canned. Something on our plate needs to be something that we grew, you know. And so if we have that little bit of food independence here, you know, just a third. We ain't looking for a crazy amount. We understand that's not possible to have a crazy amount on this land, but we can have a difference-making amount. So we want to make sure we have that, but also show people how they can have that and have some freedom and some security in their food, but also understand that, well, maybe they don't plant food because they don't know what to do with it. So that's where Angela really comes in at a lot of times in the videos. Is she's a great canner. She knows what she's doing canning. She's an amazing cook. She knows how to cook. And so we want to teach you how to grow it, but also if you're scared to grow it because you don't know what to do with it, we want to teach you what to do with it afterwards. Doesn't do good to grow it and not know what to do with it.
I love the way you put that on a half an acre, you may not I don't remember exactly what you said at first. You may not be able to grow a huge amount, but you can grow a difference making amount.
Without a doubt.
That's great. You know, I mean, if you live in an apartment, an upstairs apartment, and all you've got is a balcony, you can grow a difference making amount of food on an apartment balcony. You just have to be committed to do it and know how to make the wise use of space.
Another thing that we use, like we'll do succession planting. So we'll make sure we think about, and we're in the process now of thinking about okay, when we plant these cabbages and kales, and here in Ohio, I mean, like it can get from cold to hot. We'll go from like late winter to early summer in a week. And so your cool weather crops won't necessarily have a ton of time to grow before the heat starts getting them, before your lettuce bitters and things start bolting and whatnot. And so we try to succession plant and plan out, okay, well, this takes this many days. Okay, when we're done, it should be done around the middle of June, around early July. So when that's done, how many more days do we have until it starts freezing on us? Okay, we're going to think of something else and then have that in. And then on something else, we're going to say, well, here we can do this, but then in like late August, you can plant this lettuce or this whatever. I got some parsnips that I planted in a tub out there, trying to get them to grow. And they grew, but I screwed them up. but that was our first time trying it. We just tried it, and they grew. I could probably go out there and pull some right now and have at least small parsnips. But I mean, it's just part of the thought process. Those need to be planted in early August to have a shot at all, you know. So we think about that. It's very intentional.
Man, I hate Patty's going to hate that she wasn't here, because that's been on the forefront of her mind this year, is doing a better job at succession planning.
Yeah, that's
we've done a little bit of it. We've done a little, but not as intentionally as we need to.
Right.
And that's kind of been her buzzword for this year, is to do a better job at succession planning.
Yeah, that's how you really maximize your space. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. We may have 12 raised beds. I don't know, something like that. And then the in-ground garden's probably 15 by 55 or 60, you know. And then we might shove in some, like the white Dixie butter peas we planted last year. We planted them behind our blueberry bushes because the blueberry bushes were short. They was going to get west, like evening sun, so they're facing west, and so that they would get a really hot spot because they love the heat. And so we had that. We just thought, oh, you know what? We can dig up this spot here behind the blueberries and throw them in the ground and see what happens. We never grew them before, and they're fantastic. They're wonderful. And so that's, we just find a spot in the yard, and we try to use the edges of the yard. I have a privacy fence backyard, so we just try to grow everything on the edges, so the middle is wide open to go do what we need to do, and for the chickens to run around in and get some grass and whatnot.
Well, it sounds to me like you're really making great use of your space. So do you have any area that's not being used?
Oh yeah, goodness yeah. We have plenty of grass out in the middle of the yard. We actually, the crazy thing about our property is when we bought it, there was like a 24, 25 foot wide above ground pool right in the middle.
Wow.
Okay, I swim like a rock, and so like, well, I'm not going to use it anyway. You know, I have no use for this pool unless we put ducks in it. I don't know. And but so I knew a guy we used to go to church with. I knew his kids like to swim, so I texted him and said, "Hey man, we got this pool back here in my yard, and we don't need it. You want it?" So he's like, "Who is this?" He goes, "I'll be there tomorrow." So they came and got it. He took it down, and we got rid of it pretty quickly that way. And I didn't know anything about what to do with it anyways, and he could at least figure it out. The guy's smart enough, he could figure it out. And so he got that off our hands, and now we've got this space in the middle of the yard that we've got long-term plans for, but filling that hole with dirt is not cheap. And so we're going to figure that out, and we got an idea of how to do things there, create a park-like setting and put trees up. But so that spot is still usable. You know, we still have room to grow. And but we still have a ton of grass out here that the chickens can get on and eat and whatnot. And it's amazing, really, truly, what we've been able to do back here. It actually has kind of surprised me. I didn't think we could do this much, really. But we're going to do more.
I love it. And I assume that your viewers will follow right along as you make those additions and improvements.
I hope so. I mean, that's the idea, you know, just show people they can do it. You know, it's possible to do that stuff. And I mean, hopefully, people connect with it and understand that hey, you can be more sustainable, you can be more independent, and God designed it this way for you. He thought about you. He created 2 places for you. I realized that probably one of the last year. God prepared 2 places for us. He created this earth for us to live on and for his glory, but when he gets glory, we benefit. And so for his glory, but our benefit, so we can have a good life here, but also the eternal home in heaven that he went to prepare a place for us again. So he created 2 places for us. He's been there, but prepared this place for us for our benefit, prepared an eternal home for our benefit and for his glory all at the same time. And that to me is the most fantastic thing I can think about, is that God came before us, walked this ground before us, understood what we needed, and then said, okay, let's take care of that.
Well, I enjoyed my visit with Jason of the Art of Creation channel on YouTube, and I appreciate his efforts to glorify God in everything that he does. I think he's got his head screwed on straight and his heart's in the right place. So help him out. You know what to do. Head on over. The link is in the description of this video to his YouTube channel. Go on over there and subscribe right away. Ring the bell so you can get notifications of his new videos. And go to at least 1 or 2 or 12 of his videos and comment. Well, give him a thumbs up on the videos and comment that Alderman Farms sent you. Speaking of thumbs up, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to us if you hadn't already. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here at Alderman Farms.